Kilmer Abrego Garcia will stay behind bars while waiting for his trial at the request of his own lawyers. Attorneys for the Salvadorian national say they are worried if he's released on bail, ICE may deport him. Abrego Garcia is in Tennessee to face human smuggling charges after a short-lived deportation to El Salvador. For more, let's bring in Fox News contributor and former FBI Special Agent Nicole Parker and former New York State Homeland Security Advisor Michael Balboni. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. Nicole, I'll start with you. Have you ever seen a defendant saying, "Don't release me on bail, please, keep me behind bars"?
I never have, not once. In my time as an FBI special agent who worked violent crime, white collar crimes, I never saw that once. But again, I think that they know that under this administration, it's not going to be tolerated that he is released just out into the free world. The judge originally had requested, home detainment and certain restrictions, and they knew that the Trump administration and ICE would come in and not allow that. So again, very interesting situation, but no, I have never seen it in my time as an FBI agent.
Michael, this is all a little tangled because this is two different tracks here. You've got the criminal case, the charges of human trafficking for Kilmer Abrego Garcia, but then there's also perhaps proceedings to get him out of the country or deport him if that process is finished. So do we expect that criminal trial will work its way before he's exposed to deportation?
The Trump administration is trying to develop some type of consistent policy based upon all of these different sets of circumstances. The challenge with this case is that this has really caught the public's imagination. And so a lot of people are not really focusing on any of the facts of this. There's a policy to get people out initially if they're here illegally. But when they commit crimes and they're involved in actions that this man has been alleged to do, the human sex trafficking, there are lots of other issues. So who else is he working with? What other kind of network is there? Are there other people trying to do the same type of activity? Can we take down a network? Now, these are all the issues that are raised up when you have this type of a situation.
You look at what could happen here, Nicole. How much pressure is the Justice Department under to deliver a conviction? And do you think that's something that's likely?
I think it's very likely. I think that, again, having worked investigations, especially in the FBI, you don't bring cases unless you know that you can prove this case at trial beyond a reasonable doubt. You always hope that, they sign a plea agreement, but sometimes they don't. And you have to expect that you are going to trial, and every single fact and statute of the law, you have to be able to prove it. And they would not have brought this case if it wasn't rock solid. And let's keep in mind that I think at this point, there could potentially even be more charges coming through the pipeline. These are the initial charges, but things that he is allegedly involved in, if they can continue to prove that, then I do think that there will be additional charges. But yes, they must prove it in court beyond a reasonable doubt. And I do believe that it will end in a conviction.
Michael, turning to a different subject here, ICE has been pretty busy arresting Iranian nationals, those who've been convicted or accused of other crimes, ranging from theft, drug possession, things like that. We haven't heard of a specific Iranian plot here. There's been no implication of that yet through these ICE arrests. But what is the threat to the homeland from sleeper cells of Iranians?
When you take a look at the history of Iran, first of all, it's the #1 state sponsor of terrorism in the world. And they rely on a whole bunch of the proxies in the Middle East. And as we know that the United States and Israel have been very successful in taking out their proxies. So now they have to project some type of power across the world. The Iranian government is under tremendous pressure to show their people that they can do something, that they can respond. And so they have created a whole network across the world, but especially within the United States. And again, this is against the backdrop of tens of millions of people over the years coming into this nation. And we don't know who they are. It only took 12 people, 13 people to come in and do the 9/11 attacks. The big question is, who's in the country and what are they doing? And we all know that in the past, the Iranians have targeted elected officials for assassination. And so this is a very serious note. The FBI has put out a significant warning. And of course, then there is the fact of just the cyber attacks. The Iranian government and their military has proven to be very adept at cyber intrusions. So the question is, are they going to try to mount something that says to the Iranian people, see, we're not defenseless, we can project power?
Nicole, how difficult is this for the FBI to track?
Well, I'm not going to go into the capabilities of the FBI, obviously, or sensitive investigative techniques. We keep them quiet for a reason because the FBI has significant resources. And what I think is important is that when the FBI puts the resources where they should be, you'd be amazed at what they can do. But to say that this is not difficult, of course it's difficult. But I think, again, I'm a big believer that, border security equals national security. And in the last administration, there was a wide open border, which left us as basically sitting ducks. But I think that it's important to note that there are potentially different sorts of attacks that occur. They could be kinetic attacks on U.S. soil. They could be cyber attacks. They could be PSYOP attacks. But taking all three of those into consideration, the key is that the FBI has immediately pivoted resources, the Department of Justice and FBI. They know what's going on. They see the threats. They are fully aware, and they are handling it accordingly. They have call centers set up 24/7. If you see something, say something. And they are using all the techniques that they have at their fingertips to make sure that we are safe on the homeland. But let's be very clear. It was the Biden administration that allowed this to happen, and Attorney General Pam Bondi, FBI Director Kash Patel have walked in to basically a disaster zone, and they are picking up the pieces. Let's hope and pray that our country is safe, that we are protected, but that is what happens when there is an open border. It is a national security threat.
All right, Nicole Parker, Michael Balboni, thanks for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.